There are things Japan does that make you stop and think, why isn't this normal everywhere? Not futuristic sci-fi stuff, just simple everyday decisions that somehow the rest of the world still hasn't figured out. Like forcing phone cameras to make a shutter sound for privacy, leaving thousands of dollars worth of Apple devices completely unlocked in stores. And then there's the one that genuinely caught me off guard. Cafés where robot waiters are controlled in real time by people with disabilities who can't physically come to work. That's not tech for show. That's tech with heart. In this video, we're counting down 10 things in Japan that just make way more sense. Some are cultural, some are clever, some are emotional. And every single one will make you wonder why your country is still doing things the hard way. Let's get into it. Number 1. Permanent camera shutter sound. This one always surprises people, especially first-time visitors. In Japan, you cannot turn off the camera shutter sound on your phone. Not on iPhones, not on Android. Not even if you dig through every setting like you're trying to hack the Pentagon. The moment you take a photo, click, everyone hears it. At first, it feels annoying. Tourists complain about it all the time, but then you learn why it exists, and suddenly, it makes complete sense. Japan introduced the permanent shutter sound as a privacy protection, especially to prevent secret photography. In public places, it became a serious issue in crowded trains and stations, and instead of blaming individuals, Japan did what it does best. It fixed the system. The idea is simple. If a camera always makes a sound, people around you know when a photo is taken. There's accountability, there's awareness, there's safety. And here's the part that really hits. It's not treated as a punishment. It's treated as respect for others. No signs, no lectures, no arguments. Just a quiet cultural agreement that privacy matters more than convenience. Once you understand that, the sound doesn't feel annoying anymore. It feels reassuring. Japan didn't ask, how do we stop bad behavior? They asked, how do we protect people without making it awkward? And that mindset shows up everywhere. Number 2, no locks on Apple Store devices. This one feels almost unreal the first time you see it. You walk into an Apple store in Japan and everything is just sitting there. iPhones, MacBooks, iPads, AirPods. No security cables. No locked display cases. No alarm screaming if you lift something. At first, your brain doesn't accept it. You instinctively look around like, am I allowed to touch this? And the answer is yes. Because in Japan, the expectation isn't, someone might steal this. The expectation is people won't. This isn't about technology. It's about trust. Japan has one of the lowest theft rates in the world. And it's not because of cameras or guards everywhere. It's because from a young age, people are taught that taking what isn't yours breaks the social contract. And that contract matters deeply. What's even more fascinating is that Apple didn't force this model. Japan didn't need special rules. The culture itself makes it possible. In most countries, leaving a $2,000 laptop unattended feels reckless. In Japan, it's normal. Not because people are perfect, but because shame and responsibility are powerful forces. It quietly asks the question, what would stores look like if we designed them for trust instead of fear? Japan answered it. Number 3, cleanest trains in the world. If you've ever taken a bullet train in Japan, this moment stays with you. The train pulls into the station, hundreds of passengers get off, and you expect chaos. Instead, a cleaning crew steps on. They have 7 minutes. Not 10, not 15, 7. They move with precision. One person cleans windows, another sweeps, another checks seats. Everything is fast, silent, and incredibly coordinated. And then something unexpected happens. Before they leave the train, the entire cleaning team lines up and bows to the passengers. Not to the company, not to a manager, to the people about to board. That bow isn't a performance. It's a message. We respect your space. We take pride in this. This matters. And here's what really gets people emotional. These are cleaners. A job that in many countries is invisible or undervalued. In Japan, it's treated as honorable work. Passengers notice. Tourists notice. People actually applaud sometimes. Japan didn't just make trains clean. They made care visible. And once you experience that level of respect, for time, for space, for people, it changes how you see public transport everywhere else. Number 4, robot waiters controlled by people with disabilities. At first glance, this one looks like classic Japan. You walk into a cafe and see robots moving between tables. They greet customers, they take orders, they bring food, and your brain instantly thinks, wow, Japan really loves robots? But then you learn the truth, and it completely changes how you see it. These robots aren't automated. They're not AI. They're not programmed to smile or speak. They're being controlled in real time by people with severe physical disabilities, people who can't physically come to work. Some of them live with ALS. Some have spinal cord injuries. Some are confined to hospital beds. From their homes or care facilities, they log in, connect to the robot, and suddenly, they're at work. They can see customers. They can talk with them. They can joke, take orders, and be part of the world again. And that's the part that hits you, because this isn't about technology showing off. This is technology giving people their lives back. For many of these workers, traditional jobs are impossible, not because they don't want to work, but because the world isn't built for them. Japan looked at that reality and didn't ask, why can't they work? They asked, how do we bring work to them? And instead of treating disability like a limitation, they treated it like a design challenge. What makes this even more powerful is how normal it feels inside the cafe. Customers aren't staring. No one whispers. No one acts awkward. They just order coffee and chat with the person serving them through a robot. The workers are paid real wages. They're not volunteers. They're not a charity project. They're employees. And that dignity matters. In a world where so much tech feels pointless or gimmicky, this feels different. It feels kind. Japan didn't build robot waiters to replace humans. They built them so humans who were pushed out of society could come back in. And honestly, if this doesn't make you stop and rethink what technology should be used for, nothing will. Before we continue, if you're enjoying discovering how Japan blends technology, culture, and genuine human care like this, go ahead and tap like and subscribe. This channel is all about the thoughtful, surprising, and quietly brilliant things Japan does differently. And there's a lot more coming. Now let's keep going. Number 5, chocolate that helps you sleep. Only Japan would look at insomnia and think, okay, but what if it was chocolate? Because yes, Japan sells chocolate that's designed to help you relax and fall asleep. And before anyone says, chocolate before bed sounds like a terrible idea, Japan thought of that too. This isn't sugary, hyper, keep you awake all night chocolate. It's made with ingredients like GABA, which is linked to stress reduction and relaxation. The idea is simple. Calm the nervous system, lower anxiety, and help your brain switch off. Without turning bedtime into a science experiment, you'll find it in regular convenience stores, right next to normal chocolate. No special pharmacy visit, no dramatic packaging, just sleep chocolate. And that's the most Japan part of all. Because instead of treating sleep problems like a big personal failure, why can't I just fall asleep? They treat it like a normal part of modern life. Too much stress, too many screens, too much thinking at night. So they offer a gentle solution that feels comforting instead of clinical. You eat a small piece, you relax, you go to bed. No pressure, no hype. Meanwhile, the rest of us are out here Googling how to sleep at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, counting imaginary sheep, and wondering why our brain suddenly wants to replay every awkward moment from the last 10 years. Japan said, here, have some chocolate. Calm down. And honestly, that makes way more sense. Number 6, laser-guided scissors. This is one of those inventions that makes you feel personally attacked, because the moment you see it, you realize how many years of your life you've wasted cutting things badly. Japan sells scissors with a built-in laser line that shows you exactly where you're about to cut. Not approximately, not hope for the best. A straight glowing guide that says, this is the line, don't mess it up. Wrapping paper, perfectly straight. Craft projects, clean edges. Opening a package without turning it into modern art? Finally possible. And the funniest part is how calm and unexciting it looks. It's not flashy. It's not screaming future tech. It's just scissors that quietly refuse to let you fail, which honestly feels very Japan. Because instead of saying, be more careful, they said, let's remove the chance of error entirely. Meanwhile, the rest of us are still cutting along dotted lines and somehow drifting off course like the scissors have a mind of their own. You start straight and end up with something that looks like it was cut during an earthquake. Japan saw that chaos and said, here, follow the line. And yes, this is exactly the kind of thing people instantly want to buy once they see it. I'll leave a link in the description. Number 7, anti-slip liquid. This one is oddly satisfying. Japan sells a clear anti-slip liquid that you can dab onto the bottom of your socks, and suddenly you're no longer sliding across the floor like a cartoon character who just stepped on a banana peel. But the really clever part is that it's not just for socks. You can put a little on clothes hangers so shirts don't slowly creep off and end up in a pile on the floor. You can use it on floor mats that never stay where they're supposed to and somehow migrate across the room on their own. Even small rugs stop doing that annoying slow slide every time you walk past. The liquid dries invisible, doesn't feel sticky, and just quietly does its job in the background. No mess, no smell, no drama. And that's what makes it such a perfect Japan invention. Instead of saying, just be more careful, they noticed all these tiny daily frustrations and actually bothered to fix them. Meanwhile, the rest of us are still adjusting slipping mats, picking clothes up off the floor, and pretending skating across tiles and socks is normal adult behavior. Japan looked at all of that and thought, why is this still a problem? Then solved it with a bottle small enough to fit in your pocket. I've left a link in the description for this one because once you see it, you'll wonder why it isn't already everywhere. Number 8, basket sanitizer machines. This is one of those things you don't realize you care about until you see it. In many Japanese supermarkets, you don't just grab a shopping basket and go. Instead, there's a machine right at the entrance where you slide the basket in, and it gets sanitized automatically using UV light. You don't have to spray anything. You don't have to wipe it down. You don't have to wonder how many hands touched it before yours. You just take a clean basket and move on with your life. And once you notice this, it's impossible to unnotice everywhere else, because suddenly you're thinking about all the baskets you've grabbed over the years. The ones that are sticky for no clear reason, the ones with mystery crumbs, the ones that definitely survived a global pandemic without ever being clean. Japan saw that and said, let's just remove the doubt. It's quick, it's automatic, it doesn't slow anyone down, and it quietly makes grocery shopping feel cleaner and calmer, which honestly is very on brand for Japan. Number 9. Free dry ice for groceries. This one feels almost unreal the first time you see it. In some Japanese supermarkets, especially ones that sell frozen food or ice cream, you'll find a station near the checkout that gives you free dry ice. You just press a button, it drops into a bag, and you place it on top of your groceries to keep everything cold on the way home. No extra charge, no asking staff, no awkward hope this doesn't melt panic. Japan just assumes you care about your food staying fresh and helps you do it. Meanwhile, the rest of us are speed walking to the car, praying the ice cream survives the trip and telling ourselves, it'll be fine, even though it never is. Japan didn't overthink this. They didn't make it fancy. They just thought, people buy frozen food, so let's help them get it home properly. And again, it just makes sense. Before I say the last one in this video, let me know in the comments, what's your favorite thing on this list so far that you wish existed in your country? I'd genuinely love to know. Number 10. Square watermelon. And we're ending with this one because it's the most Japan ending possible. Square watermelons. Yes, they're real. Yes, they're grown that way. And yes, they exist because Japan looked at round fruit and said, this is inefficient. Traditional watermelons roll around, take up awkward space, and don't stack well in fridges. So Japanese farmers started growing them inside clear boxes so they form into perfect cubes. The result? Watermelons that stack neatly, don't roll, and fit perfectly in refrigerators. Now, to be fair, these are usually more decorative than practical. They're expensive and often given as gifts rather than eaten. But that's not really the point. The point is the mindset. Japan didn't ask, why would we ever need this? They asked, could this be better? And that curiosity, that willingness to rethink even something as ordinary as a watermelon, is why Japan keeps coming up with ideas that make the rest of the world stop and stare. Sometimes it's practical, sometimes it's playful, and sometimes it's just wonderfully unnecessary.